So I tried writing a script for this, and with one arm, I'm pretty sure that's not gonna happen. So let's just jump right in and talk about the Blood Angels Index before the Codex releases in the next, 2 weeks to a month or whatever the hell. So they start out with the Sons of Sanguinius Index. The Red Thirst is their detachment rule. Each time an Adeptus Astartes unit from your army is selected to fight, if that unit made a charge move this turn, until the end of the phase, add 2 to the strength characteristic and 1 to the attacks characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit. That is surprisingly good, especially with the current Pariah Nexus bullshit, where melee is just supreme. Seriously, 1 extra attack and 2 extra strength would make it so a chainsword, which is a pretty alright weapon, is just stupid good. That is absolutely insane. Of course, part of the army rule right now is that you can only use Adeptus Astartes that are Blood Angels or Blood Angel successor chapters, which actually brings up a weird thing because Captain Tycho, both versions of him, that version and Tycho the Lost, along with Gabriel Seth, are just gone from the Codex, and the Sanguinary Guard just look like shit, but that's another topic entirely that we're not going to be talking about this time. I will probably end up talking about it quite a bit next week, but we'll find out, won't we? Enhancements. For the 10 points, we got Icon of the Angel. Adeptus Astartes model only is what it affects. Each time an enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, within engagement range of the bearer's unit is selected to fall back, models in that enemy unit must make a desperate escape test as if their unit was battle shocked. When doing so, if that unit is also battle shocked by other means, subtract 1 from the desperate escape test. That's not going to come up a whole lot, but I could see it being useful in certain things, especially with how many of the Imperial agents have the fallback and shoot abilities. For 15 points, Visage of Death. Also, Adeptus Astartes models. While an enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, is within engagement range of the bearer's unit, have the objective control characteristic of models in that unit. Didn't swarm units used to have that? I swear, people kept telling me that the Necron's Scarab whatevers used to be able to do that, but I just can't recall off the top of my head, and I'm not going to look it up right now. 20 points, Artisan of War. Improve the armor penetration characteristic of the bearer's weapons by 1, and the bearer has a save characteristic of 2+. So this is surprisingly good. Yeah, armor penetration, always nice, but that save characteristic is kind of ridiculous, really. And this is constant, not just once per battle or anything like that, so just always be boosted like that. Now we got Archangel's Shard for 25 points. The bearer's melee weapons have the Anti-Chaos 5+ and Lance abilities. Lance is pretty alright, I'll give that. Anti-Chaos is very situational though, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but at the same time, that could be hilarious having a bunch of sanguinary guards or jump intercessors just bum rushing a damn hell brute and getting a boost to their slapping. This already definitely looks like something that would be very fitting for a Death Company detachment. But I know this isn't the Death Company detachment, so we'll find out what else we got. Now, Obviously, I'm going to skip Armor of Contempt when going over the stratagems. But there are 6 here, Armor of Contempt being one of them, and only one of them has 2 costs. Angel Sacrifice, usable at any phase. You target one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that was destroyed. You can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. Until the end of the battle, each time a friendly Adeptus Astartes makes an attack that targets the enemy unit that has just destroyed your character unit, you can reroll a hit roll. Honestly, that's pretty handy. Hey, your guy ended up killing my warlord, so now I can get extra rerolls against that guy, so I don't need to put Oath of Moment on it. That's honestly pretty fantastic. Skipping Armor of Contempt, we go into Aggressive Onslaught, 1 point as well, during the fight phase. One Adeptus Astartes unit from your army just before that unit is consolidated. So, the fight phase, yeah. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3 inches, provided that your unit that ends consolidation move in unit coherency and within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Definitely questionable how useful that is. Consolidation really does seem more of a, hey, I'm not exactly liking how much room this group is taking up, more than it is a tactical thing, but I've heard of some bullshit tactics you can do with it. Now on to Red Rampage, also 1 point. One Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by models in your unit have the Lance and Lethal Hits ability. Now, that's actually pretty good, I'll give that, because having the Lance ability and your opponent not knowing you have the Lance ability might make it so they don't do some bullshit in order to prevent more wounds, and adding Lance, well, +1 to wound rolls. Now, the 2 point cost one, only in Death Does Duty End. It's usable during the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. One Adeptus Astartes unit is the target from your army that was selected as the target for 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. So, okay, you select it after your enemy has chosen it, and it has to have been targeted by 1 or more. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, if that model has not fought this phase, do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can fight after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks, and is then removed from play. So, you slap me, now I slap you. Honestly, that's always a happy thing. So many detachments do similar. Then we got the last one, Relentless Assault, for also 1 point. This is usable in your movement phase, just after the Adeptus Astartes unit from your army has fallen back. You can select only that unit. Until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to declare a charge even though it fell back this phase. Given how melee-centric this army is, I can see that being pretty useful, and yeah, that's the major focus of this detachment, getting up close and personal and being very melee-focused. But there's a reason why this is one of the top of the Space Marine factions right now. Unfortunately, Space Marines are doing absolute jack shit fuck all, and my army, the Death Watch, was doing the worst, and now they're even worse than they were. Thanks GW, but this isn't about them. Blood Angels box is coming out real soon. The index is pretty good. I don't know how they're going to end up slopping it, but it's GW. They're going to. They're probably going to end up saying, oh yeah, melee attacks. Everything now only gets one attack only. Not the 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever that melee-focused armies do. Either way, that's all I got to say about these bullshits. Now I'm going to prepare my computer for Space Marine coming out this weekend, so shove off.